Maybe to Good evening everyone, Nick and Lucas here from Orange Sky, really excited tonight, as promised, to be unveiling one of the newest of Orange Sky's additions to our family. But first, just want to acknowledge the traditional owners on the lands we're standing on here tonight, but also the lands that everyone from around Australia and even the world welcome us on tonight, and that's a really special elder land and Aboriginal land and will always be. So I want to acknowledge those elders past, present, and also emerging before we kick off. So Nick's going to help me out here, but this orange box behind me is one of the most exciting new things that's happening for us at Orange Sky. And it's really formed out of this question that people have had for us for a number of years. You know, we kicked off here in Brisbane with Sudsy just over 5 years ago, and we started to go out and start supporting people who are doing it tough in our communities, have access to something that we all take for granted every single day, that really simple thing of clean clothes, but most importantly, that opportunity for conversation, that opportunity to come together and connect. And ever since we started, communities from all around the world and all around Australia have been reaching out and saying, well, how do we get these vans? How do we have a van just like Sudsy in our community? Unfortunately, our vans can be quite expensive and can be difficult to justify in lots of different areas. So tonight is a really exciting step forward for Orange Sky in seeing what the next phase of evolution, what the next phase of growth for Orange Sky could look like in some of those smaller communities that might not have the need for a van, but might have the need for something a little bit different. So Nick's going to help me out here. We're going to open the door up, and behind me here is one of our first ever laundry pods. So very, very similar. We've still got the famous 6 orange chairs that Nick's going to unpack and what they're going to be used for. As always, is that amazing conversation that happens between our everyday volunteers and everyday friends on the street. What we do have here is an extra washer than normal. So we've got the 3 washers in here, the 3 dryers in here, and what the purpose of the case of this is going to have these set up at different spots around different communities and different cities, and then have the opportunity to pull out the washing, put on the washing, pull out the chairs and have a conversation. So very, very similar to Orange Sky's core of having vehicles turn up to different service providers, but what it is going to do is enable us to go to more and more places and even operate at a higher capacity as well. So Nico, tell us a little bit more about the pod.
Yeah, so this pod is the 3rd pod that we ever built, and our 2 pods are now located, our first 2 pods that we've built are located up in Mackay, and we'll share with you some amazing supporters in a second with you up there in Mackay who are joining us also tonight. But this pod here, like Lucas said, has got 3 washers and 3 dryers. It's also got our famous Orange Sky detergent on board, which means that the detergent is automatically put into the washing machines. We've also got our laundry baskets, our amazing detergent pods. These vans also connects to the internet. So as of any of our vans, you can jump on to the internet and see in real time the impact of these services are happening. And like Lucas said, the most important things that all of our vans carry, and now our pods, 6 orange chairs. A funny story behind our 6 orange chairs with this pod is that I'm not too good at measurements, and when we decided to build this pod, the team at Orange Sky and I got together and designed what it would look like and did some calculations, and the first pods rocked up and my measurements were a little bit short. So Lucas was a very, very nervous fellow Orange Sky team member in knowing where we would get the chairs, but we were very lucky that Joel, one of our amazing team members, came up with this idea of mounting the chairs on the front, and I think it's a sensational idea. They're the most important things in our vans, and they're the first thing taken away and the last thing packed away when our services are set up. The Orange Sky pods, like Lucas said, the whole purpose is to be a more affordable but high impact solution into the regions we want to operate. And the first region we ever identified to put one of these services in is in Mackay. Mackay, we've been operating since 2017 with one of our first ever laundry and shower vans. That van's name was Don, a remarkable supporter in the Mackay community that enabled that van to operate and grow those first shifts and amazing volunteers. One of our supporters from day one and continues to be is the Mayor up in Mackay, Mayor Greg Williamson, and Lucas is going to join now with Mayor Greg and us.
The Mackay region and what's important about that community and yeah.
Well, g'day guys. Look, we lost the sound for most of that question, mate. So we'll just make it up as we go. And it's fantastic to see this innovation. And we are really proud that you've chosen Mackay to do the pilot project for the pods. I was there when we launched in Mackay in 2017, October 2017, and the outcome has been absolutely sensational for our community. You know, the fact that we have now Orange Sky working in our community, you came in right at the, when we were just starting to recover from the downturn in the resources sector, so we had a huge need. We had a huge need just not to cover the needs of the people who found themselves a little bit destitute or a little bit worse off than everybody else. But there was a need in terms of social health and well-being just to have someone to talk to, non-judgmental. And I think that's the big thing that's come through for me and our council in the way that this has interacted in our community, that you guys and our volunteers like PJ here have interacted in our community in a completely non-judgmental fashion and been able to actually embed yourselves in the community and earn the respect of the people who felt like there was no respect left in the community. So well done and congratulations. You know, we've got a community of around 120,000 people here, and it's been a fairly rich community throughout most of its time. But like any community, we have our fair share of people who are doing it tough for one reason or another. And now with the COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of people, particularly in the hospitality section and the tourism industry, have now found themselves for the first time in their lives unable to meet their bills, out on the streets, unemployed. You know, there's a whole tranche of people now that Orange Sky can help. And these pods in our district, particularly with the chairs, the 6 chairs, I think that's fantastic, guys, and I'm pleased to see you've continued that. That just gives a cementing to what you do in our community, what you're doing around Australia. And look, we couldn't be more proud that you've selected Mackay, and more happy that you're here helping us in our community. Absolutely well done.
Awesome, thanks for that, Greg. And maybe tell me a little bit more about Mackay and why it's important that these pods can have a massive impact in your community.
Well, as I said, Mackay is about 120,000 people in our community, and we have some very, very good underpinning sectors of our regional economy. The resource sector is one of them, and that's still going quite strong even in the pandemic. We are a big agricultural area. We produce a third of Australia's sugarcane. We have a tourism base as well that's just about as valuable as the sugar industry, or it was up until COVID-19. And so, we have a very, very good and sound underpinning of our economy. But as I said, like every other regional centre, like every other city in the world, I guess, there is a section of our community who do it tough. And we know that through the other agencies that supply services to people who are less well off. Keep going, right? I don't know. Yep. Were you saying something there? We missed that, mate. So.
Absolutely, Greg. And I know one of those amazing members of the community that you operate. Yeah, one of those amazing community members that lives and is a part of that community up in Mackay is sitting next to you, and thanks for welcoming us into the council chambers. So PJ, one of our amazing volunteers up in Mackay, is sitting alongside you. So I might get PJ to give a bit of a wave, and I know Nick's got a few questions for PJ as well.
G'day, guys.
Sorry, Mayor. Hopefully PJ can hear me. And PJ, it's awesome to see you. It's awesome to see all the amazing volunteers tuning in from around Australia, whether it be our amazing leader down on the Central Coast, Kylie, or one of our former team members at Orange Sky, Kim Dowling. Says a massive hi to you, PJ, one of our first ever volunteers in Mackay. So, PJ, what brought you to volunteering with Orange Sky, and what does Orange Sky mean to you?
You know, it's actually a really good question. I was approached by Orange Sky in late 2017. When I heard of the concept, I was so excited, and I thought that it was something that I could actually do to contribute to the community to really, I think, in a positive way, impact people that are less fortunate. When I commenced my rosters in December 2017, it was all very new. It was something that I'd never done previously. However, very, very quickly, I learned that it wasn't about washing clothes. It's about this conversation. And it's so nice to see the emphasis on those 6 orange chairs, because no two people are alike that use our services. They are all very unique in nature and have their own story. But I think what I've noticed through my time is that they value that conversation and just providing someone there to give advice, to provide some support, or point them in the right direction. So it's really something that I've had an amazing amount of personal gratitude and satisfaction to be able to connect it to these very special people in our community. So I've loved every minute of it, and I will continue to do so as long as I can. I'll continue to volunteer. How'd you go, Nick? You get that, mate?
I sure did. And PJ, what do you reckon these pods?
I'm really excited about it. You know, I think for one thing that I've noticed about Orange Sky, they've had such a focus on safety, and the fact now that you're looking towards continuous improvement in being more efficient to provide this service ongoing. I'm really excited about it. You know, I can see with the addition of technology and also flexibility, these pods will be a tremendous addition to the services that we currently provide. We'll be sad to see Don leave. You know, I've developed a connection to that van, highs and lows, but it's been very special every step of the way. So really looking forward to this next step, and very proud to be a part of it, Nick.
Thank you so much, PJ. I think this connection is like a load of washing, where sometimes there's a bit of a delay between, making the clothes dirty and then putting them on and putting them in the dryer. So I appreciate your patience with keeping this all connected. I might bring into the wash my mate Lucas to help me take this home. And I'd like to say a massive thank you to you, Mayor Williamson, for your leadership in helping us launch this pod. And PJ, to all the volunteers in the Mackay region. Orange Sky wouldn't operate without amazing people like yourself putting your lives on hold to go out, pull out an orange chair, put some washing on, and help people build that trust and deliver our mission of positively connecting communities. If you want to volunteer in the Mackay region, we have an amazing campaign running at the moment, Orange for Orange Sky. Anyone in Mackay, including the council chambers, is encouraged to turn orange for the next week, whether that be bake scales, schools, volunteers, chucking on an Orange Sky shirt and getting involved. Lucas is going to talk to the amazing supporters that have made this project happen, and we really encourage you to continue those connections through the Continue Connection campaign.
One more last shout out though, if you are based in Mackay and you do want to come check out one of the pods, you can see it for the next little while at the Caneland Shopping Centre. So I look forward to seeing as many people as possible down at the Caneland Shopping Centre in their orange, turning orange for Orange Sky. I'm having a yarn with some of our amazing volunteers down there. But like Nick said, this isn't something that just pops up overnight. There's a massive community of people that really help and really bring this together. So one of the pods up in Mackay was funded by one of our first supporters, Carol Jelly, and the team at the Jelly Family Foundation, who, as well as funding our second ever van, our third ever van, also funded our first ever pod. So I really want to say a massive thanks from Nick and myself, and from everyone in Mackay, who over the next little while is going to be impacted by what's an amazing new innovation for us and as a support from Mackay. There's a lot of other moving parts in terms of getting the pods installed, and I know the Mackay City Council has been incredibly supportive in terms of pulling that together. I know Nick has worked so closely with an amazing bunch of engineers and whatnot to make sure these pods are safe and can operate in the Mackay community.
Like everything at Orange Sky is far more than Lucas and I. It's our amazing team at the Orange Sky headquarters that has made this happen, whether it be the design team or the build team, our operations team, health and safety, fundraising, brand and communications team. And we really want to thank all of you for your efforts, in particular, Mike, your leadership with the team, Joel in leading us through the build, our contractors that have helped us through their consulting in making that happen, the amazing RPS group, Bly Tanner, our engineering consultants, and Philip Chun in helping us with the certification. A question that came through earlier when I was having a look is this a shipping container? It's much smaller than a shipping container, and the idea is that, like every one of our vans, this container will operate alongside one of our service providers, so that first location being Serena and then other service providers in the region, but also whether the demand increases through a natural disaster or we're able to find new places that we can operate, these services can be easily picked up, put on the back of a truck and moved around. We've had to make these pods also cyclone proof for the North Queensland environment, and some really exciting design challenges that have been overcome through this process. But a massive shout out to our operations team, a massive shout out to the Mackay community and those supporters. Carol believed in us with our second ever van with water tanks on board, and now our first ever laundry pod, and those innovations that wouldn't be possible without her support and our remarkable volunteers. But most importantly, tonight Orange Sky wouldn't be able to operate with people from all around the world that are disconnected, trusting us with their possessions, trusting us with an opportunity to have a safe hot shower, but most importantly, an opportunity to sit down on an orange chair. Tonight in Australia, 116,000 people are homeless and disconnected from the community, and that community of over 400 people in Mackay isn't alone in struggling with hygiene and human connection. So we're so incredibly proud to have this service up there now helping people. This week is National Volunteering Week, and what we also want to do in finishing is acknowledge and pay respect to those thousands of volunteers, not only within Orange Sky, but volunteers all around the world that deliver services like Orange Sky every day. Your tireless efforts in helping us grow our service, but helping the community outside of Orange Sky operate every day. We feel so lucky to volunteer with Orange Sky, and as we all know, volunteering isn't something that is binary. There's so much that as volunteers we get out of being a part of the community, and those conversations have had a massive impact on my life and will continue to impact my life moving forward. So thanks for sticking with us through these technology challenges. Thanks for being a massive part of the Orange Sky journey, and we can't wait to hear your feedback and the questions below.